Hi, it's Sarah with Designs by Sarah J. I'm back with installment 3 of Swivel, the 2020 Quiltmania Mystery Project. I'm excited to show you the blocks that we're making this month. First, gather your fabrics from previous installments. For these blocks, we're going to be using the shirting print and the 2 grays that you've used in the past. These are fabrics 5, 6, and 7. We're also going to be using that fabulous red stripe that I like so much. This is fabric 10. You'll also want to find your gold print fabric 11 and the green fabric 12. And then you'll also want fabric 13, the light green. As you can see, I've started to cut into my prints, so they're looking a little ragged, but we'll have enough to use in these blocks and the blocks coming up. Then, if you like pinks and reds, you're going to be very excited about the prints coming to you with these kits. I've added 2 more reds and a vibrant pink. Then there's a pink version of that stripe that you've seen before, so lots of fussy cutting potential here. There's a new shirting print. I really like this. It's a little lighter and brighter than the previous shirting, so we'll start to mix that in. And then there's a dark green, and there's a wonderful soft yellow. So you can see we are starting to add all the colors of the rainbow, and it's going to come together in a fabulous project. For this month, there are 3 acrylic templates available. You'll be using these shapes along with your A4 shape from the first installment. There's kind of a kite shape here, C1. There's a skinny triangle, C3, and a smaller triangle, C2. Now the good news is that all of these shapes are symmetric, so the opposing sides are the same dimension and the angles are equal, so you don't have to worry about a reverse this installment. So that will make things a little bit easier. This block though does have quite a few Y seams, so if you don't like to tackle those on the machine, I encourage you to explore hand piecing or English paper piecing. There are paper packs available through Paper Pieces, and the templates will accommodate either method. I'm going to go ahead and tackle this by machine because I like the speed of that method. I also like that the templates have the alignment dots, so I can sew point to point, and that makes the Y seams a lot easier. So I'm going to get started with cutting out the shapes. I'll talk to you a little bit about that, and then we'll start sewing. Thanks for joining me. Okay, as I mentioned, I decided that the best thing to do was sew the long skinny triangle with the small triangles in pairs. So I sewed the green to the long skinny triangle and then the gold to the long skinny, and then I sewed them together using a 1/4 inch seam. As you can see, that resulted in nice sharp pointy points using the templates. I did that for all of the various sets of these, and now it's time to decide how to best move on to the next part of the block. And like I showed you earlier, one thing that I like to do if I don't have a clear plan in mind of how to assemble a block is start looking at the next pieces, and visually if I can block them out just using some paper, that will help me. And so I can see now that the best way to get a unit that would be easy to then deal with the Y seam would be to get this piece attached and then also get the green. And you see here Nora's coming to visit us. She wants to be in the shot, I think. So I'm going to go ahead and sew the triangles here to all of the piece units along the circle. Make sure that your shirting is matching up with the green here with the darker gold, and then the dark green is paired with the lighter gold. And so I'll sew all of these inner triangles to the piece unit, and then we'll come back and add the green, and then we'll tackle the Y seam. Okay, I'm back, and I have sewn those inner wedge triangles that I showed you to the piece unit. I did that for all the different color combos all the way around. And I did press the seams toward the inside wedge on all of those. I've been pressing seams to one side, generally toward the dark, up to now. It always is a little bit of a trial and error, and with this block this seems to be working better. Before I added this green piece, I did lay the template on top of it, and I marked all 4 of the alignment holes so that I would have those for references, because this is where I'm going to start getting into the Y seams as I set these pieced wedges together and then add that A4 triangle. So I'm going to go ahead and press all of these toward the green. and then we'll start seaming these together, and then we'll add that last A4 piece and we'll have a block. Okay, I did, before I started sewing this together, want to show you one other thing. I've now pressed all of these units so the interior of the block's ready to stitch together. And as you can see, there is going to be a Y seam right here. So I'm going to stitch along this long line, and then I'm going to pivot here at the interior corner and then sew to the end. I will press the seams of these units open so this gets flat toward the center and is easier to manipulate and keep sharp points. And then what I wanted to show you is we did cut the A4 and A4 reversed. We've used this template now in both of the prior installments, and it does have a reverse, but we've cut the dark green print with this, and I will go ahead and use the alignment dots on the back of this to mark all 3 intersections so I can piece these together and then deal with that Y seam where the juncture is there. So I'm going to go ahead and do the center, show you what that looks like, and then we'll come back and add the A4s and we'll have another block done. Okay, I wanted to show you this final assembly step. So I've joined the center units and everything's pieced, pressed all of those last intersections open. You can see that we have a nice setup here. So now we're to this piece here that we're going to add on the A4, and you can see this time I joined the A4 and the A4 reverse together, and to add this in I'm going to lay this on top of the unit, and I've sewn only to my intersection dot, and this is why those intersection dots are so helpful, and I'm going to drop the pin through to where that other dot is, pull that through, use my clover fork pin to anchor that, and now I can take this to the machine and sew from that alignment dot to here, and then pivot and sew this to the other side, and so that will make this go together really easily. Okay, we're ready to start working on the second block of this installment. A couple of things to note. There are 2 reds alternating this time. The lighter red pairs with the lighter gray, the gray viney print pairs with the darker gray. Of course, you can pair those however you like. I chose to cut the viney print so the vines ran horizontally, and I also did that on the pink stripe, so you can see that they're all running the same direction. So if you want to align yours like that, that's a tip. So we'll piece this in exactly the same order that we did the other block. I'm going to start out by joining the small triangle here to these long skinny triangles and pairs and joining that, and then we'll move along. I'll show you some of the steps along the way, but let's get started with this next block. So hopefully you've had a lot of time to practice the Y seams now and you're feeling really confident about them. I thought that this block, the Y seams were gentle enough that I was able to really build some confidence, so I hope you have too. If you have questions, feel free to contact me on any of my social media or by email. And just to recap, you've now made this green and gold version. I really like it because it has some sparks of purple, and purple is one of my favorite colors. And then you also made this red version, and with this one I really love how there are some pink accents. I think that the pink in this fabric line had some real spark and really adds a little sparkle to the quilt. So you can see that we've started to branch out and we're adding more color around the color wheel to the project. Are you starting to get curious about what the mystery is and what this quilt will look like? Well, we'll be back soon for installment 4, and I can't wait to share more. Thanks so much.